What is up, guys? Volcanics back again after the long hiatus. We're just gonna, it was bad format, so me and Sharks, we were mainly playing Digimon there for a while, but hopefully, now that they murdered Kashtira, we are back in business full time on Yu-Gi-Oh! So, without further ado, the cheapest deck of the format, Kashtira. So, we're gonna start off with this profile. Well, before I get started, I will say I do have a little secret tech down here, a nice little budget option that gives you a little bit of firepower going first and second, taking one spot in the extra deck, three spots in the main deck for consistency. And I do run a 41 card build. So now that that's out of the way, we play three Kashtira Unicorn, one card combo, search any named Kashtira spell. Very good card. We all know Fenrir. It's a staple in a lot of people's side decks nowadays. It's the same as Unicorn, but it searches a monster. Now, if your opponent activates a monster effect, this is not a quick effect. These are both trigger effects, but Fenrir will banish a card in the field face down. Unicorn will banish a card from your opponent's extra deck face down. It's kind of the whole spiel of the deck. I do play two Rise Heart. Rise Heart is a pretty good extender. You don't need it at more than two. You absolutely do not need it at more than two. It does some weird stuff in the hand where you can play it really well if you open up like this plus Birth, but you really don't need the third copy. It doesn't do anything for you. Then we're on one Scareclaw Kashtira and one Tear Elements Kashtira. Tear Elements Kashtira is for the offensive side. You banish cards off the top of your deck with a Rise Heart on board. It allows you to attach more materials more quickly. And Scareclaw Kashtira is really good for just it's outing Baguska. It's a safe summon. It's a 2600 butt, and it can attack while in defense. Really good extender, really good card in general. I would almost bump that one up to two and play that over the Tear Elements. And you can even side deck multiple copies for board breaking, is what I've seen people doing. We play three Ash. Now, important thing about this is also a counter to one of the banes of this deck, which is going to be the Book of Eclipse. Book of Eclipse actually has a clause in it at the end that says your opponent draws cards equal to the amount of monsters flip face up by this card's effect. So if you have Ash, you do not use it on your opponent's first couple activations. You always wait to see if they have Book of Eclipse. Because we cannot play around that. We can play around Nibiru, we can play around Lava Golem, evenly matched, yada yada yada. We cannot play around Book of Eclipse. We have three Astral Revo, amazing extender. I don't know how many games I've won just because I put it under a Diablosis and it just sits there not dying. Three of the field spell, Pressure Planet Rates off. I enjoy the name changes on the Kashtira spells actually. I think they're named better than the original OCG versions. Basically, on activation, it's just like Perlino. You add any Kashtira named monster from your deck to your hand, and also it boosts all of your monsters by 100 attack and defense for every attribute on the field. So it does count your opponent's monsters towards the attributes, but it does not boost them. It also has a target pop that activates if Shangri-Ira activates its effect. Don't forget about that because that will come up pretty often. Then we play three Birth. So Birth is part of a really cool line that I'm going to show you guys here in a minute. But it's a really awesome extender. Your opponent has to deal with it, or else you are never out of the game. One Birth in the middle of a game, just sitting on the field, means that you go full combo every single turn, and they have to deal with this if they want to deal with you. Three Kashtira Theosis, exceptional card, but it will get ashed. If you guys are playing against Kashtira, don't ash anything except for this card. It is the only thing you need to ash, and it will it'll derail them pretty good amount. We know what it does. Target a Kashtira, special one from your deck with a different attribute. So you can even target your level 4. It doesn't have to be the same level or anything. But it can get any Kashtira out. The only repeating attributes we play are the Scareclaw and Fenrir, both being Earth. And also as a secondary effect, when banished, you can add a banished Kashtira card from your banished pile to your hand. Then we're on three copies of Sacred Sword of 7 stars. I play this because it's better going blind if you don't know if you're going to go first or second. Because if they, for example, were to imperm or ash your body on like a unicorn search, or if you Fenrir search and you activate it, if they stop that, you can actually remove the body here as cost to draw 2. So if they don't stop that draw 2, then you also have the draw 2 to help you get into stuff. And it's happened where I go Fenrir and I activate Fenrir's effect. They imperm it, and so I say, okay, cool, banish Fenrir, draw 2, special unicorn, 1 card combo in your face. You suck. We do play 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent and 2 copies of the better Triple Tactics Talent. Very cheap cards, no excuse not to play these. In all reality, it's very expensive and it's very worth it to play Thrust. I might cut down this talents to 1 and just play 2 Thrust, 1 talent because it is searchable through Thrust. But Thrust is pretty key to this deck because you can search not only the Sacred Sword, like I said, to remove your body, get draw 2, but you can also search the Theosis, and you can even search stuff like Evenly Matched, which I do play in the main. Another target for Thrust is Terraforming. If they stop one of your summons, or if they activate a monster effect you trigger in the main phase or whatever, you can go ahead and activate Thrust to search your Terraforming, to search the field spell, and go 1-card combo from there. Then we're on 3 Imperm. Nothing really much to say there. We are on 1 copy of Evenly Matched, just to search off of Thrust in the case of going blind second, and you don't know you're going to go second. We play 1 Kashtira Big Bang. Sucks to draw. It's kind of a Garnet. We can get it banished from the hand to trigger its cool effect. It's just a lot easier if it's in the deck, which is part of the reason why I play 41. Just so it's that less common to see it. If it is banished, it will target a Kashtira monster you control. You take one of the Kashtira materials under it, add it to your hand, special summon it. So it's just extra board presence, extra extension there. And it even has an evenly matched type effect on the field. So, for the tech, I haven't seen people running this, but I think it might catch on a little bit. I do have 3 Tour Guide from the Underworld. Don't mind the mismatching rarities. I tried to order matching rarities, but this is how a TCG player operates. Whatever. But basically, you will drop your unicorn. Before you activate the effect, you drop one Tour Guide effect to special the other one, and then you just overlay them immediately into Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. So the way this works, it just gives you an extra punch going first or second that your opponent's not going to stop. If you special Unicorn, then normal Tour Guide, they're not usually going to stop the Tour Guide because they don't know what's happening. You overlay into Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. Now you have a monster negate, and it actually turns the effect to where both players draw 1 card. So not only do you have that to force your effects to go through, like if you use Unicorn, they try to Ash, you can activate this, but it also gives you back that card that you would have had in your hand instead of Tour Guide, just off that draw. So that's pretty neat, and we're not afraid of a lot of hand traps really in this deck, so it's nice to play that. So continuing the extra deck, we have 2 Shangri-Ira, pretty standard so it doesn't get ripped. 2 Zeus, we know what Zeus does. I've had like 11 material Zeus because of Arise Heart, just attaching over and over again. Then we play the 2 Arise Heart, Floodgate, Macrocosmos, exceptional card, mandatory once per chain, attach a card to it, a banished card to it as material, anytime a card is banished. Then we play the 2 Big Eye. You need 2 Big Eye because you need to kill your opponent quickly. Big Eye is exceptional, soft once per turn, doesn't even have to target a face-up. So if you decide to play Book of Eclipse, you can even do that, and then steal your opponent's monster, flip it face up with Big Eye, steal it with Big Eye, flip it face up, use it for your own means, whatever you decide to do with it. Real cool stuff. We're on 1 Diablosis the Mind Hacker. It's only good going first. It's only good to lock extra zones. And it does kind of deck people out, so it's really nice to keep it on board. If you can get that second effect off by attaching the second material, you're in a really good spot, and they've probably banished half their combo pieces. We do play 1 Baguska. It does come up every once in a while if you have a dead hand. You can normal summon a Rise Heart, reveal this, and Astral Karibo into it, and then you stall for a couple turns, get a couple draws. Hard to out unless they're playing Kashtira, where they can use Scareclaw Kashtira. 1 Infinitrack Goliath. If you play Prosperity, you banish this off Prosperity, and I do play it in the side. And then you can attach it to your Arise Heart as material. It actually makes any machine type Xyz indestructible by card effect. And Arise Heart as well as Zeus are machines. I do play 1 Almirage and 1 Lingaribo. So you probably should play 2 Lingaribo, but I'm waiting on my second. Mostly because if they Ibly lock you, you cannot Almirage it, but if you're going to Ibly lock them, you can Almirage it. Also, Lingaribo stops evenly matched, so that's pretty neat, and I feel like that's going to get played this format. And then we do play the 1 Baronne de Fleur. So that is just where you can normal summon an Ash Blossom if you open up one of the named spells. So to explain that real quick, you have to open, to go for the Baron route, you have this 3 of, this 3 of, as well as your Terraforming here. And then you have this 3 of, and you have 3 Unicorn. So, if you open up Ash Blossom, as well as any one of these 7 cards, as well as any one of these 6 cards you have Baron. Because what you will do is, let's say we open up Theosis. You special summon Unicorn, you activate it to search Birth, you normal summon the Ash Blossom, you synchro into your Baron here, and then you activate Birth, summoning your Unicorn from the grave or banished, and then you activate Theosis on it. You go full combo from there with an insulated plays through the Baron. So that's pretty neat. There's a couple things in the side deck that I wanted to talk about real quick too, just before we let you guys go here. I do side. We're going first. 3 Pot of Prosperity as well as 3 Ibly. They are the only thing that's really locked into stone in the extra deck, besides finishing the playset of Evenly Matched. So the reason I do this is because Prosperity actually doesn't agree with Bamboozling Gossip Shadow because it turns the effect to drawing. And in game 2, your opponent's probably going to side into the Book of Eclipse, which you can only stop with Ash Blossom. So it's really good to dig for that here. I would also consider a Ghost Mourner. I did order some of these to test. But Ghost Mourner is cool because it just adds to the ways you can get out to Baron. Remember, we had the 7 copies of the 1 card combo, and then we have the 6 named Kashtira spells. This will also give you an extra body that you can summon instead of Ash, and just more consistency to getting into the Baron. And it also lets you keep your Ash in the hand, so that if they try to Book of Eclipse you, you don't have to waste your Baron. You can have the Ash in hand, and you can save the Baron for another negate later down the road. I do play in the side deck 1 Change of Heart, 1 Mind Control. They're searchable off thrust, and you don't need to worry about follow up. You can just steal. You can special summon your first monster, bait out the interaction however you would like, and then you go ahead and search any one of these through your thrust, or even if you open them, you can search it. You can steal in the mirror match. You can steal Kashtira monsters and use their monsters to make your own Rise Heart, which is fun. Like I said earlier in the side deck, I do go ahead and finish the playset of Evenly Matched because it's cool. I play 2 Shifter and I play 2 Lava Golem just because I only have 2 of each. Or I actually have 3 Shifter. I have 2 Lava Golem even because it's like $10. But Shifter, I just don't think is really main deck material right now with Tier getting taken out behind the shed. I think it's perfectly viable to just play it in the side and call it good there. But really, it's all up to you guys to decide. We do have some extra deck profiles coming up soon. I think we got some stuff in the works. Hopefully you guys hear from us soon. But anyways, for this video, that's going to be it. Volcanics out.